What's up, Combat Conversation fam? William Crider back again. It's been a while since I've done a video. I'm glad to be back on this side of the camera. Now that we have the show back popping again full-fledged, you're going to see a lot more videos and a lot more coverage of the fights that we'll see throughout the weekends to come, and a lot of the fight events, martial arts events, combat sports events we'll be going to cover. But this video, this weekend, we're going to talk about some fights that we have, another full weekend of fights, but there are two in particular that I want to discuss real quick. First, we are going to have a fight that everybody wants to see. We're going to have on HBO Boxing pay-per-view this weekend, Saturday, which is the 18th. We will have Triple G, Gennady Golovkin, versus Danny Jacobs. I think that is going to be a very interesting middleweight bout. We're going to have Triple G up against Danny Jacobs, and Triple G will be defending his WBA super middleweight along with his WBC, IBF, and IBO middleweight titles versus Danny Jacobs. That's a lot of gold Triple G is wearing right there. Yeah, this definitely could be the toughest contest of the undefeated Golovkin's career. I think so. There's been a lot of talk regarding Triple G's quality of opponent, or lack thereof. But a win against Danny Jacobs would, I think they will put those skeptics to bed, at least a little bit. That's just my opinion. A win for either of these fighters would absolutely cement their place as arguably the best middleweight, or at least one of the best. Well, these are two of the best right now. The best middleweights out there in the business, the best middleweights in the world, other than probably Canelo. Again, just my opinion. I definitely think that Jacobs has the best chance of anyone, other than Canelo, maybe, let me say again, of anyone in the middleweight division, him having the best chance to beat Triple G, Danny Jacobs. I think so. And I think that's because of the speed and the size advantage that Danny Jacobs has over Triple G. You know, Triple G is not really used to fighting, looking at Triple G's resume, he's not used to fighting guys Danny Jacobs' size, you know? Jacobs is a super middleweight that kind of fights at the regular middleweight class, the weight class. He comes in roughly, usually hydrates himself down, comes in usually roughly, well, I'm going to say maybe 170. That's super middleweight for most of his fights. And because of that, he looks huge. He looks like a big guy going into these fights. And I think Jacobs' weight advantage is going to be noticeable. It's going to be substantial going into this fight. And I think that's definitely going to make a difference. There's a chance that Jacobs might have too much size and speed for Triple G. And there's a... See, when you look at Triple G's resume, this is the first time I want to say that he's fought somebody this big. See, and this is the crazy thing. And even though, looking at Jacobs' history, track record, and him going into the fight, the bigger, stronger fighter, faster fighter, Triple G is still the favorite to win. I mean, that's just how it works out. See, this is crazy, man. Triple G is 36-0. 33 of those wins have come by KO. That is sick. That is a 91.7% knockout percentage. That's the highest knockout percentage in middleweight championship history. That's insane. But see, and when you look at that and you consider that knockout percentage, you also got to consider the fact that he's never been knocked down or knocked out in his pro or amateur career. Triple G has never tasted the canvas. Now, on the flip side of that, it goes back to Triple G's quality of opponent and him not really. A lot of people really feel like Triple G hasn't fought anybody. In my opinion, the only fighter that I think Triple G could, that Triple G has fought has had as an opponent that you probably could consider top tier is maybe, I want to say, maybe Kell Brook, which was his last fight, obviously a TKO win for Triple G, for Golovkin. And I think that's it. So if he's able to get this win over Danny Jacobs, it will look awesome on Golovkin's resume. And the same for Jacobs. Jacobs is 29-1. He hasn't lost since July of 2010, and he is the current WBA. He's the regular middleweight champ. Like we've been saying, super middleweight, regular middleweight. But Jacobs, his size, he fights at the size and mass of a super middleweight. I just think that's going to make for a very, very interesting bout. Now Jacobs' story, man, you know, he was diagnosed with cancer back in he almost had to quit boxing back in 2011. He got diagnosed with cancer, made a full recovery, came back to the ring, just whooping behinds after a 19-month layoff. That last one he had, it was which I think was Jacobs' toughest opponent, which was against Peter Quillen. There was a little bit of controversy in regard to the stoppage of that fight. The ref called the fight off. Quillen really thought, and Quillen's corner thought, obviously, that he could have kept going. But nevertheless, it was a win for Danny Jacobs. But just the fact that of the story of what Jacobs has overcome to fight as the quality of fighter he's in the ring he is now is absolutely amazing. So the fact that he's even here to fight is amazing. So shout out to Danny Jacobs for overcoming that, man. That feat. He beat cancer, man. That's amazing. But yeah, to me, looking at Jacobs has an awesome record, 29-1. But I don't know. He beat Quillen. That's the only Peter Quillen is the only person that I could think that Jacobs has fought that is probably top tier. Maybe Sergio Moore, maybe, but he beat Moore twice. So you know, I don't know. What I do know is that this is going to be an awesome fight. So they're fighting Saturday night on HBO pay-per-view. Make sure you check that fight out because we're going to be talking about the results of that fight on the show Sunday morning, on the online radio show Sunday morning 10 a.m. The other fight we want to take a look at, which also takes place Saturday night, and this is another, I always have, y'all see me, man, I always have a TV screen and a computer screen having a split. One fight here, one fight there. If it's the third fight, I have my phone flipped open. It's insane. But that's what I do. That's what I love. It's just me. I'm pretty sure some of y'all out there do that too. Nevertheless, we will have another fight that Saturday night, UFC Fight Night. We are going to take a look at Jimi Manuwa versus Corey Anderson, which I also think would be a good fight on that card. That's the headliner fight for that card. There's a couple other fights on the card that we'll talk about on the show Sunday morning on the radio show. But we want to take a look real quick at the Jimi Manuwa versus Corey Anderson fight. These are both contenders in the light heavyweight division. Jimi Manuwa is ranked number 4. He sits at 16-2. Corey Anderson, he's not too far behind him. He's ranked at number 7. He has a 9-2 pro record. Obviously, this fight could have a possible effect on the lightweight division and a pending title shot, or at least one of them moving up in the ranks. I'm not sure how these two would fare against the champ. Oh my goodness, Daniel Cormier. My mind went blank. Light heavyweight champ. Not sure how these two would fare against Cormier or against the top elite within that light heavyweight realm. You got your Anthony Rumble Johnsons, your Gustafsons. But these two win. Whoever wins this will inch themselves closer to fighting one of those top or even fighting the champ. So there's a significant age difference in this here fight. Jimi Manuwa, Jimmy's 37 years old, whereas Anderson is 27. That 10 years is a big difference regarding youth when you put it versus experience. But again, flip side of the coin. The experience comes with the age in Manuwa's case, because Manuwa, so he's 10 years older, and he's fought in the octagon 7 more times than Corey Anderson has. So he has the age, the experience advantage. Excuse me. Also, with Manuwa's experience, with his experience comes a more impressive resume, I want to say. Manuwa, he only has 2 losses, like I said, 16-2. And those 2 losses are against 2 of the best light heavyweights in the world. The same 2 we just mentioned a second ago. Anthony Rumble Johnson, Alexander Gustafsson. So both of Manuwa's losses are against 2 fighters who he's trying to get closer to fighting again, and hopefully going past that hump to get a light heavyweight title shot. So let's see how that pans out. But that looks good, even though those 2 were losses. The people who he lost to, it makes it look good on his resume as far as making a case if he wins this fight to try to either get a rematch with one of them or get a shot at that light heavyweight gold. But his resume, Jimmy's resume is impressive. But at 37, you have to understand that Father Time, who is the undefeated champ, is really not Jimmy's friend at 37. Looking at Anderson's resume, Corey Anderson, the younger man, 27, it's pretty good. It's just not as good as Jimmy's. Of course, Jimmy's been fighting longer, so he's had a longer time to build his resume. But at this point in Corey Anderson's career, his resume just falls a little bit short of Jimi Manuwa's. Corey is a light heavyweight TUF tournament winner, the Ultimate Fighter tournament. He won that tournament back in 2014, but up to this point, that's about it. That's to me on his resume. That's his biggest accomplishment thus far. That was back in 2014 when he first started to go pro in the UFC. He's looked good in the interim within that time frame, but he's only had 2 fights against opponents who I guess would be considered top tier, and he's lost both of them. I was Gian Vellante and Mauricio Shogun Rua. So he lost both. When he had both of the shots he had against top tier fighters that would be considered top tier, he struck out both times. So although his resume looks good, those are two big notches that fall against his resume. So that would be more reason for him to need this win against a fighter the caliber of Jimi Manuwa. You got the I want to say the classic striker versus grappler type of situation here. Both these fighters are pretty well rounded. Manuwa is more of a striker than Anderson is, though, to me. 14 of Manuwa's 16 wins are by KO, so that should tell you either by KO or TKO. So that should tell you how much Jimmy likes to let his hands fly. Corey Anderson, on the other hand, he kind of gravitates more toward wrestling than Jimmy does. With I want to say roughly 60% of his offense is taking people down. So that shows you where his grappling mind is. But once Corey gets you on the ground, he's dangerous. So I look for this to be a pretty good fight. Yeah, this is going to be a good fight. So don't forget, every Sunday at 10 a.m., this Sunday we're going to be talking about these fights and the respective fights that are on these undercards. See some of the prelims maybe, if they're pretty good, they stand out, we're going to talk about them. Call in, tell us what you thought about this weekend's events. Going to be talking about the results of these fights. We also have PBC fights that's coming on Friday evening. Just a couple of fights on that card. We're going to take a look at those. We might be talking about some of those this Sunday as well. We're also going to be talking about Vitor Belfort. He finally decided to retire after this past weekend's loss. So he said that he has one more fight on his contract. I think that's UFC 212 will be his next and final fight for his contract. So after that, he said he wants to retire. So we'll talk about that Sunday morning. We'll talk about the results of this weekend's events. Don't forget to check out the website, www.warriorexchange.wordpress.com. Also, the show. I appreciate all the love, all the outpour, all the support that I've been getting for the show. It's awesome, man. Make me feel great. That's why I love to do what I do. Please make sure you check the show out every Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern, www.blogtalkradio.com/Combat Convo. Also, we are on Facebook and YouTube at Combat Conversation. We are also on Instagram and on Twitter at Combat Convo Blog. The same time we do the radio show, we air live on Facebook and on Instagram. So if you have any comments, questions, If we have an interviewee, you want to ask them something and you want to just chop it up with them, if you can't call in, please put the question on the live blog, on Facebook, on Instagram, every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. And see you guys then. So until next time, talk to you later, family. Deuces.